Everything on there is for
always permission. Always. I know better. I know better. There's a reason I don't want to be sitting in these. I know better, and I really...
And you know why I asked, right?
I feel like you're asking because of my history.
That's why.
I feel like I'm sitting in cuffs for a reason now. I'll be very honest with you guys. I feel like this is all mixed together.
You're in cuffs for this policy.
No, but I mean, I feel like I was brought in because of this. I didn't put two and two together until I saw you guys, and I'm wondering why I was going to Waukesha. To everything I've ever done, I've had permission from Lynn. I mean, she has in writing a million different things because of that. I've never forged her name. I've never nothing.
You really have nothing to say to me, do you?
No. I don't. What the hell do you expect?
I don't understand why you're being this mean. It doesn't even make sense.
I don't know you, Jesse.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't. Nobody makes up lies like that to their person they love. You don't love anybody.
I don't love anybody?
No, you don't. You don't lie to people. You don't lie to people and make up so many lies.
You owe her the truth.
Amen. Yes.
You owe her the truth. Jesse.
I'm telling you the truth.
But how do we know that? Because for 3 days now, you've been telling us lies. And then you've been telling Scott lies.
What do you want me to tell you or do?
I want to know really what happened that day. You know what? I'm actually starting to think that maybe Chris is right. That you knew she was trying to harm herself, and you were doing a half-assed job of trying to stop her from doing it.
Welcome back to Monsters Among Us. In today's episode, we unravel the shocking story of Jessy Kurczewski, a 39-year-old caretaker from Milwaukee who committed an unthinkable betrayal against someone who trusted her with their life. Prepare yourself as we dive into Jessy Kurczewski's dark and twisted actions. On October 3rd, 2018, a frantic 911 call was made by Jessy Kurczewski. She reported finding her best friend and the person she cared for, Lynn Hernan, slumped over in her recliner, surrounded by crushed prescription pills. Jessy explained that Lynn had been suffering from excruciating, chronic stomach pain that had severely impacted her quality of life. She claimed that Lynn had been so desperate for relief that she had even considered ending her own life. Emergency personnel rushed to the scene, but it was too late. Lynn was pronounced dead shortly after their arrival. At first, nothing seemed amiss. Lynn had well-known health issues, and the possibility of her taking her own life to escape her suffering didn't seem far-fetched to those who knew her. But beneath the surface, a far more sinister truth was lurking, waiting to be uncovered. The medical examiner conducted an autopsy and made a chilling discovery. Lynn had an extremely high level of tetrahydrozoline in her system, the active ingredient found in eye drops like Visine. This was not something Lynn had been prescribed, and the sheer amount of it in her body immediately raised red flags. What had initially appeared to be a suicide was now taking a dark turn, as the medical examiner labeled the cause of death suspicious, suggesting the possibility of homicide instead.
The red shows it. We need Visine, the only eye drop with tetrahydrozoline. It soothes and gets the red out. Visine gets the red out.
A few months after Lynn's death, Jessy made a call to the medical examiner's office, seeking more information about the case. At the time, no one thought much of it. Lynn had been like a mother to Jessy, and her concern seemed natural, just a grieving friend looking for answers. Before Lynn's death, Jessy had spent so much time with her that she eventually became her caretaker. Despite being only 62, Lynn struggled with severe health issues, including COPD and depression, which made it difficult for her to care for herself. Jessy's presence seemed like a blessing, but no one knew then just how deep her involvement would go, or how dark things would get.
Waukesha County Communications, it's Jeff. Yes, I'm calling. I'm trying to find out some information, and I don't have a case number or who is working on it.
Okay.
I have a last name and the person who it is on, and basically I'm just trying to find out some information.
Okay. What kind of information are you looking for?
I'm trying to figure out who's working on her case.
Okay. What kind of case?
I don't know. The medical examiner just gave me this phone number and said it was referred to you guys.
Okay. So is it reference to death then if you were talking to the medical examiner? Okay. Yeah. And what is the subject's last name?
Hernan. And the first name is Lynn.
And your last name?
Kurczewski.
And your first name?
Jessy, Jessy.
All right, Jessy, I will have a deputy give you a call, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
As Jessy went on with her life, she had no idea that detectives were delving deeper into Lynn's case. They were determined to uncover the truth, suspecting that Lynn's death might not have been a tragic suicide, but a calculated homicide. The question loomed: who would want to harm Lynn, and why? As they begin digging deeper, detectives decide they would like to talk to Jessy, so they call her in for an interview, to which she agrees to come to the station.
Jessy and her mother, I'm sorry.
Hi, Jenny. Yeah, see right there? We're going to grab you another chair.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Aaron.
Aaron, okay.
Nice to meet you.
He was well. Yeah, she was a good friend with Lynn, so she kind of wanted to know what's going on, too. Thank you.
Theoretically, I am assigned to this case.
Okay.
But we got a new boss here a little bit ago and kind of changed protocols on us. Because back in the day, I've been doing this a long time.
Sure.
We didn't look at this stuff. Yeah, me kind of called out and said, you're all good. And now he has us investigating it, like on a back burner.
Sure.
So when you called, yeah, I knew the name and I had glanced over it. Yeah. But I'm waiting for the ME to call me and say, hey, we're all done, death certificate signed, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
So I was a little surprised when he sent a phone. You had concerns about the hospital.
When I talked to the medical examiner last,
Uh-huh.
I talked to him numerous times. The first couple times, they said there was a few issues as far as health-wise. She had like 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
Then they said they were waiting on toxicology.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they sent out second samples or tissue, something, and then they stopped saying anything. And they said I had to contact you guys.
And that's when I got the boss.
Okay. And I'm going, I just want to know, because they kind of weren't sure. We didn't know if it was a suicide or if it was something medical. So she was like an aunt, a second mom to me. She didn't have kids.
So you've known her your whole life.
Yeah.
And that's why you were helping her out.
Yeah. She was just tired of being sick.
Mm-hmm.
And she was frustrated because she wasn't getting the answers.
Once we hear from the ME, I'll let you know what's going on. But
do you know, out of curiosity?
They have up to a year.
Oh, my gosh.
And they almost...
I mean, it's not it doesn't do anything. It's more so, I just wish I knew, It's more so to know if I could have done something had I been there. That's the hardest part.
We've a lot of vaccines.
I'd like to know if it's a suicide, but I'd still like to know what led up to her being sick for the last 5 years of her life.
Yeah.
Why?
Medical problems.
If it was in her head.
I'll ask the doc when it comes time.
Yeah.
After the interview, Jessy returned home with her mother, but the detectives weren't finished with her yet. Sensing something wasn't quite right, they decided to dig deeper into Jessy's actions around the time of Lynn's death. What they found was intriguing and suspicious. After Lynn passed away, Jessy's mother bought a new 75-inch television. Even more curious, Lynn's car had been signed over to Jessy's mother, giving her full access to use it whenever she pleased. These discoveries raised more questions than answers and intensified the investigation. Over the next several weeks, Jessy's behavior grew increasingly suspicious. she made frequent calls to the sheriff's department and the medical examiner's office, pestering them for updates on Lynn's case. Her relentless inquiries raised eyebrows, but it was a tip from another person that truly set off alarm bells. Andrew Poza, a close family friend of Lynn's, came forward with some startling information. Although Lynn never had children of her own, she considered Andrew like a son or nephew and had generously supported him through college. They shared a deep bond, spending countless hours together, and Lynn had always assured Andrew that he would be well taken care of in her will. However, Andrew wasn't interested in her money. For him, Lynn's companionship meant far more, and he cherished the time they spent together over the years. After Lynn's death, Jessy contacted Andrew to inform him she was the power of attorney for Lynn's estate. She told him that he would only receive around $13,000, far less than Lynn had promised him. When Andrew questioned the amount, Jessy explained that Lynn had substantial debts that needed to be paid off, which accounted for the discrepancy. Andrew says he didn't care so much about being shorted, but more so about the possibility of Jessy doing the wrong thing with Lynn's money. So he got the police and a legal team involved in the situation. Initially, Andrew believed Jessy when she printed documents showing bills that needed to be paid, but it turned out that those documents were forged and completely fake. While investigating even further, police determined that Jessy had been taking money from Lynn's bank account for several years and had even opened bank accounts in Lynn's name. At this point, detectives decided it was time to bring Jessy back in for questioning.
I'm really starting to think you guys think I did something or I did something wrong, and if you knew Lynn, you knew the way she was. I didn't do anything, and I'll tell you that, honestly.
I
love her to death.
I don't know her. That's why I'm asking you a lot of questions, because I don't know who she was.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of the disadvantages of doing this job is you know her intimately.
Yeah, I know her very well.
And I'm investigating a death.
I get it.
And there's an anomaly in her toxicology. There's a drug in her system that's not supposed to be there.
And what would that be?
It's called tetrahydrazine.
What is that?
Everything on there is for...
Always permission. Always. I know better. I know better. There's a reason I don't want to be sitting in these. I know better, and I really...
And you know why I asked, right?
I feel like you're asking because of my history.
That's why.
I feel like I'm sitting in cuffs for a reason now. I'll be very honest with you guys. I feel like this is all mixed together.
You're in cuffs for this policy.
No, but I mean, I feel like I was brought in because of this. I didn't put two and two together until I saw you guys, and I'm wondering why I was going to Waukesha. To everything I've ever done, I've had permission from Lynn. I mean, she has in writing a million different things because of that. I've never forged her name. I've never nothing.
It's called tetrahydrazine.
What is that?
Commonly known as eye drops.
She uses eye drops all the time.
What does she use them for?
She used them for her eyes. But she went through them like crazy, which didn't make sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, when you say a lot, how much was she using?
I probably brought her 4 bottles while she was in the hospital.
Yeah?
She put them in her eyes all the time. All the time. And I was like, I've never met somebody that goes through it. She's like, my eyes are always dry. Always.
What kind of eye drops were you buying her?
Whatever kind. She didn't care. She didn't have like a history. What would that do anyway? I don't get it.
Apparently, it's not good for you to use lots of eye drops. And that's what the medical examiner is concerned about.
Did they look in her house? Because she has boxes of them.
Does
or
she?
had. Yeah. Because she was well known for eye drops.
Okay.
Yeah.
What killed her is the eye drops.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Do you think someone would have went in there and tried to kill her with eye drops?
No.
Put it in her drink?
I swear to God, I don't.
Her vodka?
No.
Does anyone have a motive?
No.
The medical examiner tends to think someone killed her.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they didn't find any Visine bottles next to her.
They're all over her house.
But she didn't really move around. That's what we were told, is she didn't really move. So the medical examiner tends
I can honestly tell you, I know they're
think
all
that someone
over her house.
gave it to her.
No. I was the only one there.
I was there. I didn't see any Visine.
I did not give her. They're all in her bathroom. And there was 2 on her nightstand.
Not next to her.
They were on her nightstand next to her. I swear to God, I know they were, because she always kept them right there.
Well, there's a picture of the nightstand. The medical examiner does a real thorough job when it comes to
I
medication.
agree with what you're saying. 100%. But
And there's no
I don't know anybody who would do that to her, and I'm not lying. I don't know anybody who would want to do that.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know anybody.
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking you. Look at this as a murder.
That's just insane to me. And this is why I'm here.
One of the reasons.
Do you guys think I murdered her?
Did you?
I swear to God, I didn't.
You seem to want to have the most to gain on this.
I have no reason to murder her. I could see why people would think I'd have the most to gain. I have no reason to murder her. She was my family. I'd rather have her be here now. I did not murder her. Under whatever I have to, I did not murder her. I did not. I'm 100% honest with you.
Did you?
I didn't give her.
Did you help her end her life?
I didn't help her end her life.
Because I'd understand if you did.
I did, so I swear to God I did.
Because my dad's dying there, and he's saying, Christopher, I want to die.
I get that.
And
she said it.
And just hearing it, and you love him so much, and you don't know what to do.
No, I did. I swear to God.
Is it possible? I mean, that you got the bottles for Lynn that morning, left it on the table next to her?
No.
No.
The discrepancies in Jessy's story gave cops enough to arrest her and charge her with the murder of Lynn Hernan. 1 minute, she says Lynn would never take Visine, and the next, she says Lynn did it all the time to get a real buzz, mixing it with some of her favorite drinks, such as vodka. Even after her arrest, Jessy continued to deny having any involvement in Lynn's murder.
I didn't purposely ever mix anything for her. Never. I swear to God, I'm not lying. She put it in her water once in a while and in her vodka once in a while. She kept trying more different doses. I didn't agree with it. I kept throwing out bottles of water anytime. That's why I told you guys. Anytime that the caps were open, I was throwing them out because I didn't like the idea of it. She was shitting all over. She wasn't dying from it. She was shitting. It was disgusting.
But that's not what it does.
Well, that's what it was doing to her. It was eating out her body because she was literally shitting. She shit all over her bedroom on it. That was the first time she took it, and literally she called me and I wasn't even there. She called me and I got there and she had shit all over her whole room. Dead serious, she couldn't make it to the bathroom. And that's the first time she said she tried it. And I got there and there was umpteen boxes empty. And I'm not lying. And ever since then, she put it in her water or her vodka. She said the water didn't taste like anything, and the vodka, she liked it because she got like a little more of a buzz off of it.
Police knew Jessy was lying because when consumed, Visine doesn't give you a buzz. Instead, it will kill you, which is exactly what happened to Lynn when Jessy sneakily put Visine into her drink.
Signature.
Have you ever looked up anything with Visine poisoning?
No.
You've never heard about Visine poisoning?
From the movie, yeah.
That's just making someone sick, but you've never heard about someone poisoning with Visine?
I've heard somebody getting sick with it, diarrhea, but not poisoning, no. I've never heard somebody dying from Visine ever in my life.
Little did Jessy know that investigators went through her phone after her arrest and discovered she knew much more about Visine than she was letting up. In one text message that Jessy sent to her boyfriend at the time, Scott, she says she's not feeling well and is throwing up blood. Jessy claimed that an ex-boyfriend poisoned her with Visine, which gave her diarrhea and stomach pain.
So when I talked to Scott today, he told me a really interesting story.
Yeah.
That a few months ago you guys went out and you came home and you didn't feel well. You felt funny. And you went to the hospital, and you told them that you had been poisoned with, someone said that they had poisoned, the doctor told you that you had been poisoned with Visine.
There was somebody that we went out with. But it was just, they were throwing up. It wasn't, they didn't die.
And he said it was you.
No, it wasn't.
You. He said you went to the hospital.
No. I went with my girlfriend who was sick. She went to walk in. But it wasn't me.
No, he said it was. Why would he tell us that?
I have no idea, because it wasn't me.
In addition to that text message with Scott, investigators noticed other texts she sent to him a month before Lynn's death, stating that Lynn had overdosed and was in the hospital on life support. Scott had already been fed up with Jessy's behavior within their relationship and planned to break up with her, but decided to hold off when he found out that Lynn died, simply because he felt it just wasn't the right time. Once Jessy was arrested and charged with murder, he officially called it quits, but Jessy didn't take it quite well.
You really have nothing to say to me, do you?
No. I don't. What the hell do you expect?
I don't understand why you're being this mean. It doesn't even make sense.
I don't know you, Jessy.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't. Nobody makes up lies like that to their person they love. You don't love anybody.
I don't love anybody?
No, you don't. You don't lie to people. You don't lie to people and make up so many lies.
About one thing. One
No, it's not one
thing.
thing.
Our whole life was not a lie.
Yeah, I was.
No, it wasn't. How can you even say that?
Very easily, because you lied to me about something very serious. Then you told a bunch of other lies on top of that to my family about her being in the hospital and being brought back to life. You just kept making up more and more lies. You're diabolical. That's just crazy.
You owe her the truth.
Amen.
Yes.
You owe her the truth. Jessy.
I'm telling you the truth.
But how do we know that? Because for 3 days now, you've been telling us lies. And then you've been telling Scott lies. You've
What
been
do you
telling your
want
mom
me to
lies.
tell you or do?
I want to know really what happened that day. You know what? I'm actually starting to think that maybe Chris is right. That you knew she was trying to harm herself, and you were doing a half-assed job of trying to stop her from doing it. I think part of you maybe actually felt bad and knew that she was sick and wanted it. Maybe that was it. Because I don't think you're a stone-cold killer. I don't think you're cold-blooded. I don't know. But what I do know is Chris is 100% right when he says the science and the facts aren't adding up.
That bottle of water right there had in six Visines.
How do you know that?
Because that's what she put in it.
When?
She told me the 3 days before I threw it out. And she asked for it that morning.
You gave it to her.
You gave it to her.
Yeah.
So this is the hot shot bottle. What
I did. I gave it to her because she said I wanted it. I didn't realize, per se, I knew she told me, okay, I have this one, and I have my vodka. And she said, it's the one bottle I have left on the right. Can you please give me that before you leave?
He's not going to believe you. He's going to think you're a murderer.
I didn't murder her.
Jessy went to trial in October 2023, with her defense team claiming that Lynn had been desperate to end her own suffering and had asked Jessy for the Visine as a form of assisted suicide. They portrayed Jessy as a compassionate friend who had simply tried to fulfill Lynn's final wish. But the prosecutors weren't swayed by this narrative. They argued that Jessy had coldly and deliberately poisoned Lynn, a woman she had known for years, driven by greed and the desire to get her hands on Lynn's money. After only 4 hours of deliberation, the jury found Jessy guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. She has since been sentenced to life in prison,